It's really funny how in the first game without Matt Canada, who Steelers fans have been calling all season to be fired, they're chanting it at Penguins games, fire Canada, and Mike Sullivan finally takes over today. First play of the game, 25-yard strike right down the seam. And throughout the entire day, you're seeing a more aggressive Pittsburgh Steelers team. Kenny Pickett looking good on some deep throws. He had a beautiful one down the near sideline to George Pickens later in the game. Pittsburgh finishes with 421 yards of offense, and you're going to see this all over the place. But they had gone 58 straight games without 400 or more yards, total yards in the game. Canada was with them for 44 games. Not one time did they achieve that feat. You have to go back to 2020, week 2, to when the Steelers offense put up these kind of numbers. So there's a large portion of the Steeler fan base that's saying, yeah, you see, Mike, if you just listened to us, a year ago, maybe we would be in a better position than we're in right now. But you have to be happy to see that the Steelers, with whatever they were doing today, they established a running game. Najee and Jalen Warren combined for 148 yards, and they got Pat Freiermuth going. He ended the day with 9 catches for 120 yards. Like, that's how you help these young quarterbacks. Get their tight ends involved. Establish a run. And for Pittsburgh, it was a great sight to see because they are still in playoff contention. And if their offense gets going, their defense makes enough plays where, maybe they can make a little bit of noise.
And just to put that number into perspective, right? Maybe you think, 400 yards isn't that a lot. Since that streak started, there were 333 instances where teams went over 400 yards. He said the Steelers streak was broken at 48. The next longest, or now the longest, is the Packers at 18.
Yeah,
so this was
close.
Yeah, no, it was unprecedented in modern NFL history how bad the Steelers offense was. And the people who say that coaching doesn't matter, it's all about the players. You can sort of put people in whatever scheme. It doesn't matter what the coaches are doing. I think this serves as a counterexample today.
Oh, completely. Look at Pat Freiermuth. His yardage in the previous 5 games he played, yards, not catches here. 3 yards, 2 yards, 41 yards, 7 and 7. I mean, the guy didn't exist, and he's a talented tight end. He had 120 yards today. It was I didn't want to ever jump on Matt Canada too hard to kick a guy when he's down, but it is pretty telling to see, okay, he's gone for one game and they explode for 420 when the offense still has plenty of problems. Don't get me wrong. There's still a lot to fix in Pittsburgh, but today was a good step forward. I still don't know if I really believe in Kenny Pickett as a guy who can take you far. But maybe now when you have a new guy in the building, we're going to see a different Kenny Pickett. So you have to
look, here's the thing, right? What Steelers fans have been asking from the offense isn't for them to carry the team. The defense is good. And the run game is pretty decent too. You've got the players to make things work. What you need is an offense that is good enough to let players like TJ Watt and Cam Hayward and let those guys go to work.
You literally need the offense to be acceptable. It's like Denver last year. If the offense scores 20 points, yeah, we just talked about it. They win double-digit games. Just be acceptable. You can't get 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. This version of the Steelers offense probably goes in and takes care of Cleveland a lot easier last week. So
yeah, but I mean, here's the thing, right? This team's 7-4 now, right? If they are starting to figure out having an okay offense, I don't mean great. I mean an okay offense that can keep them in games. They've got a pretty easy schedule left. They just have to play at 500 level to make the playoffs. And then who knows? The division is still sort of within reach. If you don't win the division, you're going on the road of a ferocious defense and a quarterback that can occasionally put some plays together. I mean, that's scary.
The Steelers can 100% win the AFC North. The next 4 weeks, they have Arizona, New England, Indianapolis, and Cincinnati. They should win all those games. They really should be 4-0 and be 11-4. And let's see where Baltimore will be at that point. Baltimore, let's say they win tonight, they'll be 9-3, right?
Yeah, but then they got the Rams, they got the Jaguars, the 49ers, the Dolphins at home. So it's not a game, but here's my prediction. Week 18, the Steelers travel to Baltimore. Because the Steelers won the first game, if they win that, they'll have the tiebreaker. I think that game will decide the AFC North. And I'll tell you, I am sure that the Ravens will not be happy having to play what could be deciding the 1 seed versus the 5 seed or the 2 seed versus the 6 seed in week 17, Lamar Jackson is getting no rest for that one.
Look, let's just say that the Steelers win those 4 games, which they should. If they win those 4 games, the Ravens now have to, they could lose to Jacksonville, 49ers, or the Dolphins. If they lose 2 of those 3, the Steelers are looking at a closeout division game in week 17 against the Seahawks, which would be kind of nuts if that wound up being the scenario here. Yeah, they're a weird team this year. They remind me in some ways, like I said, of the Vikings last year, where they just figure it out. Not as spectacularly, but Pittsburgh sits here and, 7-4. They the 1 seed is even in play. To some degree, the 1 seed is in play. It's unfathomable, but it's real. There is a world where it could happen.
Yeah, ever since that game where the Texans blew up and put up 30 points on the Steelers, since then, their next 7 games, the Steelers have only given up an average of 15 points per game against some good offenses, right? The Jaguars, the Ravens. They've done that against decent enough teams. If you have an offense that can put up 300 plus points or 300 plus yards,
that would be huge.
Oh, yeah. No, if Kenny Pickett puts up 300 points next week, game over. But you got an offense that can put up 300 or more yards, a defense that can hold your opponents under 20. That is a winning formula.